to, before I forget, this is going to be, so I'm going to be doing this to about 2 o'clock today. Probably cut off just before. Okay, perfect. We're charging. We're good. Let's adjust my camera again. Okay. Alrighty. So today we are going to be chain linking. So I'm holding my arms up here a lot so I can see what I'm doing. But we got to get myself ready to go. So if you haven't seen any of my lives yet, this is where I just create and I channel and I share messages and I give ideas and insights and experiences. I just open talk messages that come through. I feel like my oversoul needs me to share them. So I do it. But today we're going to be finishing up. Hi, Carrie. So today we're going to be finishing up Richard's talisman. Okay, this is so beautiful. But we're going to be doing a chain link necklace with bronze. Hi, Tracy. You get to see some chain linking today. So you'll get to see my face. We get to interact. We'll get to enjoy one another's presence as I am working on the last part of Richard Cardinal's talisman. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get a piece of scrap wire here because I need to have an anchor seated for the chain link as I'm holding on to it. So that's a good one right there. Okay. Perfect. How cute. It's my little coil one that I did, snipped off. So satisfying. So crazy how much wire is used when you're doing coiling. Okay. So we're going to get a bit of a link started here. So we're going to do 2 by 2 on my Byzantine pattern. And I like to think of it as 11-11. So 2 being 1 and 1. Get it? Anyway. Okay. I got this cool little ring here. Forget my camera's on the left side today. But it's got slits in it. And what this does is allows me to lock in my chain links while I'm working on my stuff. So I can hold on to it, bend them out, and we can link them together. Like so. Okay, so 2 links there. This allows me to hold on to everything. Okay, and since you get to see my face, I'll get to see my chats a little more, so I'll be able to stay plugged in a bit. Okay. So we're going to link these 2 together. And I was chatting with Richard this morning, and we come to conclude that we want the talisman to hang below all of his other beautiful turquoise. And I love the joke he said. He's like, if I were to be thrown into a river, I'd just sink because he loves his stones so much. It's so funny. So bronze, because it's smelted with tin, that's what gives it its strength. It's still a soft stone. Yeah, much better than 2 pliers. So as you get going in your chain linking, it allows you to hold your creation without having to drop and set pliers each time. So anyway, and I like to, because my thumbs are huge, I have a hard time grabbing these small little things. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So 2 by 2, that's what we're going to have here. Oh, I need to make a clasp for it too. So anyway, so we're going to take our 2x2 here, our little loops. I'm going to thread my anchor wire down. This is going to allow me to hold on to my necklace so I don't keep dropping it and losing my sequence. So with your chain link. So all we're going to do here, just take that, just going to twist it together so it doesn't come undone. Okay. Now I can hang my chain link, and it's nice having this little tether because now I can hold it like this. I'll probably actually just link this around here so it stays put. You can hold that, tighten this up a little bit. Hey Steve, welcome. Caught my live just in time, but we are going to be working on this chain link necklace to put with this talisman. This is what I've been working on last couple days. Done a lot of work to the flow of this. So we're working with bronze, and I love working with bronze. Bronze has some real like metaphysical enhancements, if you will. Super pretty. Yeah, thank you, Steve. I enjoy that you come on and do it with me. It's kind of like Bob Ross in a sense. Okay. So, yeah, we need to link this together here. Okay. That one needs to jump through another loop. Where are you? Yeah. No kidding. Yeah, it's so funny. And that was his joke, and it made me laugh so hard. I'm just like, that's so funny because I probably would too. Yeah, so there are sensitivities to that, but there are big, and it's super energetic, and I think that's why some people have sensitivity to tin. But that's what makes bronze. So brass is a different alternative that can give you the similar like gold appeal that also has copper in it. So brass has copper in it, but it doesn't use tin. I think it's that one's with nickel. So if you got sensitivity to metal, probably shouldn't use brass either. Okay. All right. So as you can see here are links. We're going to have two. We're going to work in 2x2. So those are your 11s on your loops. Okay. We're going to keep that pattern. So once we get to this point with the 3, we're going to start um, linking them together to give it that texture in a sense. Okay. Alrighty. Love the look of this. Yeah, it's getting good. So we're gonna do a little. I don't know what they call it in terms of chain linking, but it's gonna get pretty cool. Now I made one of these for um, the guy I used to work with, my old boss, became friend, and over there at Spudnik, I made it with his arrowhead pendant, and he rocks that thing every day. He just loves it. Oh, okay. And I love the way that it looked once it oxidized a little bit. And I'm like, oh, Richard is going to love this. Okay, so it's going to be kind of hard to see. I get my eyes hidden behind the camera. So we've got our links here. Links are there. And if you turn sideways, I gotta hide my eyes. You see those links there. So now we're going to link in between the split, for this texture. And these links, when I bought them, the diameter is just a millimeter too small for the gauge. So this one I'm going to have to fight a little bit. But because it's brass, it's not going to warp the loops on me, so it works okay. Okay. Man, my hands are buzzing right now. This the energy connection as I'm working on these. It's crazy. Oh, come on. Oh, that's why. Okay. I forgot I had to change up the linking. Okay. So it's supposed to be one in between because of how tight it is. Okay. And that works for me. And then we do 2 to interlink the sections. That's right. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to need pliers for this one. Now I also have some heavy duty needle nose. They're a little more durable, which makes it perfect for the reaching in of the chain links. And I bought these for that reason. So it allows me to get into the tight grooves here in case my fingers can't do it. So we're going to take that one off. Okay, then take those 2 off. Okay, so 2 then 1. And we're going to go 3 double links. Okay. Perfect. All right. Yeah, my ring is too intense right now for this. Ooh, energy's all tingly. It's amazing. So. Okay. Now we're going to put this one right next to that. Link that together. And now we can split these. Literally just did what I shouldn't have done. So dumb. So I'm going to try to keep my eye on my chat this time around. So I'm weaving, I'm focused on my pattern so I can't multitask. It would be cool if I had chameleon eyes though. And like a fly could process multiple angles at once. It'd be so cool. Okay. All right. So 2 double links to do the split, and a single link loop through it. Okay. So I've got. So getting the chain link started, in my opinion, is the hardest part. As you can see, it looks like I'm fighting it a lot. But I also forgot my pattern. So I generally will do bigger loops. And they're easier to fish through. Or a thinner gauge wire. What is my child watching in there? Okay, let's split it more apart. Okay. There it goes. Oh my gosh. Work with me. Take a deep breath. What is going on here? My hands are just like on fire, tingling like crazy. This is wild. For the love. Why are you being so stubborn? Literally made 22 inches of this not too long ago. Same links. Okay. There it goes. Oh, that's why there's a burr on there that was catching on the loops. So funny. Okay. So I hide my eyes behind this. You can see the chain link we're doing. Yeah, it's going to be so cool. So cool. Perfect. Okay, now my next set. Okay. Okay. Perfect. I need something with more leverage. So I have my hands. I think I'll just use these ones. Yeah, that's perfect. A little more leverage. Okay. Okay. And I decided on honey goldens. It kept so I always want to do more. That's just my thing. My craft, I always want to make it extravagant and elaborate and amazing and loud and expressive. Like that's how I like to create. So I just decided with honey goldens, I'm like, so I wanted to make a necklace for her, and in addition to her talisman, I'm just like, she's right. She doesn't want to take too much away from the heart, and so I'm just like, okay, we're just gonna do a simple chain link and call it good. And I think that'll be just perfect for her. But Richards, because he's such a bold, expressive type person, yeah, he's getting it. He's getting a full on out. This is how I like to create. Dragon Brother. So cool. Okay. So yeah, one link in between. 1, 2, 3. Maybe. that going to squeeze in there just right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, the tingling. It's not really like my hands are going numb like carpal tunnel, because it feels like it's pulsing from my fingers through my arms. It's crazy. And I've had struggle with carpal tunnel in the past, so like, I get that, but especially when I was cooking. Oh my gosh. Using a knife all day will definitely give you carpal tunnel. A whisk, pair of tongs. Like, seriously. Okay. Do I like the way that bends? Or should I do another link in between? Okay, see. Man, it's been a minute since I've done one of these links here. Okay. Alrighty. So as you can see here, let's see if I can stabilize it. But I can get my hand to stabilize. So that'll be your design there. And this should free flow and bend. Yeah, so cool. Okay. So now we just keep repeating that pattern. I think I should do another link in between those. Yeah, I think I should. Okay, well, I'll come back and fix that one later, because that's at the end. Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's got enough movement so it's comfortable and not stiff. Like mine, because the loops are a little bit bigger, it just collapses into itself, which is nice. But when it's weighted, yeah, that's what I did. Okay, now it's all coming back. I gotta do more of these so I can remember. Man, the pattern. Okay, yeah. So there's the end there. We have a center link, and then we're gonna repeat the pattern again. That's what I did with these ones. Okay, now I remember. Now we're gonna be smooth sailing. Okay. So now we're gonna put our okay. So when I'm doing my jump rings with my tool, I kind of have to overextend it so that it'll flush itself up again. Because I don't really solder these to prevent the scratchiness, I have to make sure they stay really tight and close together. To prevent scratchiness. My copper, because it's far more malleable, I noticed some links have pulled apart and causes scratchiness in my neck. So again, I test these out before I make them. And when I do my own soldering stuff, I'll definitely work on my jump rings more. The energy of these are just incredible. I need a big pair, big old chain linkers. Let's try these ones. Oh, those feel good. They're just not very deep. They're pretty bulky. Okay. Okay. So we got that link there. Perfect. Now we're going to split those two. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay. Then we're going to put our connecting link in between there and then start the pattern over again. So we've got, sorry, I don't know why I was doing that. Got my cool jump ring tool here. Okay, now okay, perfect. So you can see how the difference of the two patterns there. So this first section is really close. It doesn't bend as much, so we're going to put an extra link in between for the next section. Then it bends a little more freely and still gives that aesthetic appeal. Super cool. So now we're going to continue this until I get 24 inches. So funny. And actually what I'll end up doing, because this bail's kind of narrow for this chain link, I want it to be able to free flow through there. We're going to do a singular link in between, single chain link in between, where this comes off the sides. So it free flows and dangles and doesn't bind up or cause damage to the pendant. As I've done with mine here, I have a single chain that allows it to slide through. Well, it's taut right now, but yeah, it will shift through. So keep that in mind. I like, not only are they pretty, I like them to be functional and durable. Yeah. So we're just going to disconnect all of those and call that one good. Continue on. Okay. No mistakes, just happy accidents. Just happy accidents. Okay. So now I've got my connecting one. So we're going to link two jump rings there. And Tracy, if you're doing any jump linking type stuff in the future, the copper is really easy on the hands when working with pliers. So you can do this for a long time. And this little ring that I found, I just picked it up at Hobby Lobby. It was like $6. Super helpful. So you can help you handle your stuff. I'm having to pick it up every single time, every link, because that gets annoying. I tell you. Okay. No, stay put. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do the split links together. So when you're doing the split links, you'll have to go a little wider on your opening. Oh, that one's not closed all the way. Just seal that one up. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, those are good. And it's important when you're doing jump linking that your links align up perfectly when you install the link. Because if you have to go back and check everything and make sure it's all good, oh man, that can take hours. So just make sure that you're working on the links one by one perfectly as you go. Okay. So now we are here. Yeah. Okay, so that's the next link. So you'll see how that pattern starts going. Both sides. We're going to continue that on. Oh, this is going to be so cool. Richard is going to ship bricks. And I mean literal bricks. Okay. What am I doing here? Okay. Perfect. Okay. Doop, 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 doop. So my connecting link, and now I start my pattern again. Okay. Okay. Okay, perfect. Make sure. Okay. Okay. So there's my connecting link. So we gotta do 2 doubles and then split them. Okay. 2 doubles. Okay. And now we're gonna link the 2 together. So we're gonna split the links. Okay. Okay, that one goes. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that is gonna look so cool. Man, love doing this. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now we're smooth sailing. Okay. There's those two. So two double links. We're going to split them for the next sequence. Perfect. Okay. So if you guys haven't watched that episode yesterday of Step Into Your Power, when Honey said it was an activation, now I had my child, so like I couldn't focus completely like focused on it, so it was like 80% focused. So I rewatched it again this morning so I can understand. But as she was talking about the activation, I awoke with something different. Something felt so different when I awoke this morning. But I'm like, I feel empowered to some degree. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I just, something happened after watching that. There was a frequency that transmitted through subconsciously that I can't explain. I mean, there there's something to it, and that's kind of what it inspired. Shimmering scales. Yeah, you're right. The dragon. Yeah, Tracy, I absolutely loved that episode, and after re-listening to it, it just left me feeling super inspired. So I'm just the alignment of it. And, I was even watching the Divine Masculine episode that Honey and Richard had recently done. I think it was yesterday, um, which jarred so many more awarenesses. Oh my gosh. Listening to Richard talk about the integration of the masculine Jupiter as the protector, and Gaia being very earthen and grounded. And oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful episode. And so after watching that episode, I was just like, oh my gosh, the alignment of your two's talismans that I'm working on aligns so perfectly with this video. Like, you have no idea. It's just mind boggling how things unfold in the way that they do. And actually, I had someone purchase my Ganesha's wisdom mass talisman, and it was just the coolest story of connecting with this person and how parallel my creation was for her and her ascension. And that was the one I did with Honey Golden in her show on her podcast. And it found her that way. She didn't know who I was, and she had to do some research to figure it out, but she found me, and she was like, that's the one. That's the calling. And so I shared with her my explanation of it. So I'm curious to see the feedback from her after she gets it and watches that video, giving the full details of what I created based on the feelings I had, which is just, it's mind blowing. Okay, so I just need to split it farther apart. But watching that video with them about the emergence of the divine masculine, like, I feel the shift, like, within me. Like, I've been last few years been really tapping into my divine feminine nature to soften my heart, like I had to, and became very in touch with that. Yeah, yeah, it is, Tracy. It is, connections are connecting. Yeah, and it just lately, I just, because of the heaviness that we had recently, like, I was just like in a slump and lack of motivation. It's because I was integrating that divine masculine again, and I'm feeling empowered, and I'm feeling energized, like the testosterone is flowing through me. Not that it wasn't before, but it just in a different way, a very spiritually aligned way. It's like I want to say it's like a Kundalini awakening is what's happening, because it just I feel so different in my body right now. And I'm excited to see what awareness has come forth once I start realizing what changes have been happening. It's just wonderful. But yeah, I'm gonna make like pliers that have big grips on them. These fine petite ones with big grips. So it's like easy to handle and doesn't dig in your skin. See my hand here from the pliers? uh, so funny. I wouldn't even be surprised if I got a bruise from making this necklace. It's so funny. But that episode last night was just, oh my gosh, it was powerful. It resonated really well with me. I don't even know how to explain it. Just uh, going with the flow. Tracy and your sovereignty being in your garden, in your neck of the woods, and then literal neck of the woods. I'm so envious. But one day I will have that too. I'm so grateful for it. Huh, that is interesting. I am, it is curious because sometimes those things do, especially if there's um, an, a power or force behind the energy attached to it. It is interesting. Like it truly is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I accept there. Okay. Double double. Intermission. Because I'm a responsible parent, I will have to pause intermittently to go check on my child, make sure she's okay and everything's taken care of. She's beginning to understand what I mean when I work from home now, so she's starting to respect that boundary. It was rough at first, but she's getting so much better. And I try to reinforce that we're going to go do something fun. Yeah, I am tickled pink, and oh, my shirt caught it. Cool. But I keep getting a pull to go back out to Mackie. And it's very curious because I keep getting glimmers of um, gold energy from Mackie. And what's interesting about that is Mackie, the town that was established there, was originally a gold mine. There was a gold mine right there. That's what formed the whole town. And the town is a very small population. They have a high school there, believe it or not. But there are locals that like to live out there. A lot of them are cattle ranchers, which is also where Proud Source Water is located for Idaho. Um, and I got to know the locals out there working at the bar because they all go. So working at the bar with the locals, I got a feel for the people. And of course, I was the talk of the town because ain't nobody with dreadlocks going to a town like that. I tell you, I heard their murmurs. It made me kind of like a little uneasy, but because of how I am, um, people were so intrigued by just how different I was, and they eventually we became really like community working together. It was so beautiful that once their prejudice was put aside and they started hearing about what I'm doing because I work at this bar where a lot of the locals that chatter amongst themselves hang out. It just it's so cool to see cultures unite together. Differences, we all working together. We're all doing things together. Yeah, pool noodles. Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. Just to slip over my. Yeah, we're gonna do that because yeah, my hand is like burp burp from holding those pliers. I just pain through it. It is what it is. Oh man, I can handle it. But yeah, I should get some foam for the chain linking because if I'm doing like my wire stuff, I need control, but I'm also not applying so much force to these because this again this brass is very it's stiff compared to the copper and the silver. That's a good idea. Get some foam inserts for like a pen to put over it just right on my. Yeah, I'll look into that. That's cool. But being such a quiet little town and me working from my home basically, it gives me that freedom. Now I don't like I said I don't want to stay here in Mackey, but I keep getting these impressions about something with to do with gold out there. And maybe that just is symbolic to that will be my sanctuary to do my start my homesteading. Maybe like I have no idea. But being present, can't put too much thought into it because it'll complicate what's coming to some degree. So I wonder, I fancy, and I continue visualizing like what I want my stead to look like. Again, I don't have a location yet, like a strong pull, like this is where I'm going to establish. But yeah, I keep getting pulled to go more north. I don't know why. I like the idea of moving more south where climate will be more temperate for, not so freaking cold out here and windy like it is out here. But I also keep getting these feelings and impressions from the intuitive saying that we're coming into a time where the climate, because really the firmament makes this earth like a terrarium. So therefore, it should have a pretty stable, temperamental weather ecosystem year round, technically speaking, if you think about it. If we're under a firmament, God's handiwork, then that would mean that we shouldn't have seasons, technically speaking. And so makes me wonder if we can get rid of the technologies that are inducing seasons, what this earth will become if it can have flourish year round. Think about it. You can have produce growing year round and don't have to wait on seasons. The bees can always be doing their thing year round, no hibernation states. And even in that topic, it makes me wonder if hibernation is our animal's instinctual response to the changes. I mean, obviously it is, but I mean, I wonder if they used to not hibernate, like because you get those videos where like grizzly bears, they say they hibernate all through winter. They eat so much, and then um, just goes through. Yeah, our temperatures are constant 70s. Yeah, like truly. Yeah, more daylight. Yeah, and more consistency with the flow. Like I really think that the craziness we're seeing in the weather is preparing us for that shift to have and weather seems to be a topic a lot. Even Tommy was doing a decode about the weather and something in Michigan, which was pretty wild. But there's something to it because the locals tell me how there's just feet of snow, there's just blizzards of snow, and it's crazy how much snow is here. And since I've been here, there's been no snow. It's been relatively warm. The locals tell me that there's no reason why it should be 60 degrees in January, but yet I'm experiencing it. So it intrigues my curiosity into thinking that maybe this earth wasn't meant to have seasons, like actually thinking about it, because like I said, I have fuchsias that have been growing year round, and I thought those grew through a season. So, and matter of fact, my fuchsia's in full bloom right now before the snow crocuses. So it's just like there's something to this. I think the plants know this, the animals know it, they migrate based on this. 82 today, holy cow. 36 feels like 28. 19 that morning. Oh crap, 19. I don't miss those days. I definitely am no I mean, I wear my winter coat year round, so it doesn't bother me as much as some of you guys. But I walk around like an animal. But yeah, I get why Richard doesn't like talking about weather, but believe it or not, it is a big thing about it. And I think we need to, like Richard said, stop talking about it so we can allow the things to calm down. Stop putting names to these storms to give them power. Like that's not normal for Annapolis. Yeah, same thing. And the fact that we go from 60 to a foot of snow back to 60 in less than a month's time, that's not normal either. Even if seasons were supposed to be a thing, like that's not normal. Even on that scope that we go through seasons, like that doesn't make any sense, but it happens. I document it. I've shown like, hey, here's the proof, video evidence. Watch me. You can see 4 days in between the transition of season change, and it's not one time that this has happened. It's literally happened every month. Every month we go through a cycle like that, and it's just like that. This seems like something's going out of whack here. Yeah, big picture. We don't even know what normal is. You're right. Yeah, we don't even know what normal is. But I like to fantasize what normal would be. I like to dream it up. I like to think about what would it be like to have a constant temperamental climate all over the world. Not where you have regions where it's super desert like and harsh heat and no water. I want Makes me wonder if the Earth, being a terrain, would no longer have deserts. Like a Coke barbecue in your red Solo cup. uh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, something to that. And I feel that way when I'm in the sun. Like I was able to get good sun gazing today because it wasn't blistering cold wind and it was a nice climate and I didn't have the haze already sprayed over the sky, that blanket that they like to put all over us. Oh yeah, my thing's falling off here. But yeah, it's just fascinating, that how much better I feel now that I've been able to um, get my sunlight in, my melanin activated. Because really, you want to talk about digestion problems, you need more sunlight. I've been learning that the sun activating the melanin also boosts and stimulates your metabolism. And I was just like, huh, that's very interesting. And so I'm just going to start putting these things to the test. Get more natural sun, less sunglasses, get more active outside. Yeah, temperamental climate will be boring. I do think that we need to go through slight changes in seasons, but not this dramatic that we have. I think that there needs to be, so that we know when to plant and when to grow, etc. Like I think that there is going to be some cycle to it. But to have a temperamental climate across the world where everyone's experiencing the similar thing, and we're all experiencing the cold changes and the warm changes and the rainy changes, but it's not segregated by region and biome. Yeah, yeah. And a funny thing, if you actually look at like sunscreen, they started marketing sunscreen as you need to protect yourself from the sun. Now, skin cancer started rising like exponentially the first year that sunscreen had been introduced. So there weren't very many cases of skin cancer happening. But also, when sunscreen came out, was about the same time sunglasses came out. So it was like they came out together almost. And people's skin health has been declining since they introduced that. And you can look at the stats and actually see it. And then not only that, if you look at somebody applying sunscreen under a UV camera spectrum, they go from just having a light, like a radiant body under a UV camera, and the second they put it on, they go completely black and dark and low vibe. And I'm just like, I'm just like, what? This is crazy. So you're shielding the sun, but you're blocking the sun. Like our bodies are incredible machines. Like we are sold on this idea that we have to look beyond ourselves to make our, improve our quality of life. Yeah, it's so true. Now, you can get sunburns. Now, it's not, you got to, so I look at UV index. So there are times of the day that the UV index is so hot you shouldn't be in direct sunlight. And I'm coming to find, even in like biblical times, during those times of days, the community, because it was so hot, they would take naps. Like that was a thing. Like people weren't working, people weren't doing things. And then once it started cooling down, meaning when the UV index lowers and the sun's moved away a little bit, people get back to it for the evening before the sun goes away. I've been learning like those sleep cycles that people once had when they just worked on the farm, going with the flow, like Foley, you know, never use sunscreen. So I use sunscreen because my parents told me to, and I didn't like the way it smelled. I didn't like the way it, like, dirt stuck to my skin. I didn't like any element of it. And as a kid, you don't want to take time to put sunscreen on, and then you don't want to pause every 2 hours to reapply sunscreen. But yeah, it was learning about UV index makes sense why people get sunburns without sunscreen, especially the laborers that are doing like landscaping all day, or they're construction or roofers that are outside in the sun all day. Yeah, they're in those times where they shouldn't be in the direct sunlight, period, for health. And I think if this world becomes slower, I think those people that are doing those kind of things will be able to have that break through that time that is detrimental to their health. And then all the shit they put in the sky makes it worse in the soil because it starts evaporating the chemicals into the air again. Whoa. That thing flipped right out of there. Hmm. Baby oil and iodine. Huh, interesting. There are a bunch of books I need to get that talk about natural healing remedies and old grandma remedies for different, anyway, like baking soda and hydrogen peroxide type stuff. I was listening to an article about putting hydrogen peroxide in your armpits helps with parasites and stuff like that and bad. Anyway, just, I don't know. I got to research into so much is coming out now, knowledge wise, that it's fascinating. Can't wait. So I got to start looking into natural remedies when I start making my own. See? And that's what I mean. Like that knowledge, like, is dying with a generation, and I'm so glad that it's becoming restored, because it takes, I think, in the scope of the controllers in this earth, it's about 3 generations that they can implement a full system to be the norm. 3 generations, I think, is how that works. So when they're planning their crazy chaos in this world, I really think that it follows a 3rd generation lineage. So they have it all planned out like a big giant game, if you will. So, but I think that after a 3rd generation, by the time the 3rd generation comes in, it's instilled. This is how things are, right? The Matrix. It's just how it is, you know. Which I disagree with that entirely. But yeah, it's just fascinating. Anyway, just rambling here at this point. But I'm excited for, it's pretty consistent weather. If it stays between like 90 to 30 degrees range year round, I'm okay with that. I don't want it to be a constant 70 degrees every day. Like, I like having the dynamic. I like having to put on a coat occasionally. I like having to strip down to shorts and a t-shirt occasionally. Like, I like having the dynamic of that. But where it's like 115 degrees hot in the summer, and then it's going to, negative degrees in the winter, those extremes, I don't like that. But I guess with elevation that works too, because in the mountains you notice that a lot too. Yeah, turn the water bell on. Yeah, you'll be fine. I'll be here till 2 p.m. Mountain Standard. I'm going to jump on Ascension Mastery live video or step into your power community. Yeah, it's looking so cool. So you can see my chain. So that's what we're creating for Richard. This custom chain link Very, yeah, like dragon scales. That's why I liked this design of the Byzantine, because it did remind me of how dragon scales would have interlinked as armor for their body. It's so crazy, like shingles on a roof, basically. Helps repel the water so it doesn't seep in. But I can't wait for the time where we just have what we need and we can just create, do what we want to do, be productive by doing just the things we love. I can't wait for that time. Can't wait for the time where money doesn't need to be a thing. We can just trade goods for goods. We can network between ourselves. Like that would be so cool. Go back to that traditional market system. People show up with a booth and know where to find stuff locally. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So this needs to be a single link. Okay. Oh man, so this morning I found a video that caught my attention, and it was talking about this guy that's been doing research since like forever ago about how, like, he just had this theory. How do coral reefs grow? Like, the coral reefs, we understand them being singular organisms working together, and they're working to build their reef in a sense. Do I use white gold? No, I've never. Well, I could. I just got to buy it, but I've never worked with white gold. I don't even know what white gold is. That gold and silver together? I have no idea. Rose gold I've worked with. I love that, and I've worked. I think I've worked with 14 karat gold fill. Um, and that was like a lot of money. Holy crap! Gold is so expensive, ridiculously expensive. And as Honey says, this guy has boogers. But if the Earth is constantly bringing up gold to the surface, maybe that's why I keep getting these impressions to go out that way right now. You know, because I do want to start exploring for geodes and such. So I'm curious if I'm being called to find something like that. So let me tell you, if I can smelt my own gold and make my own like gold rings and such from stuff that I find, oh my gosh, how cool would that be? I can smelt it all down and purify it and do my own gold, jewelry. Man, that would be so cool. But let's see what's going on. But yeah. But anyway, so that video, that guy was talking about the coral reefs, and he, the science that had come out that he'd been researching is he's like, well, how can so coral reefs, they grow, they get stronger. Sometimes coral reefs are some of the strongest organically formed, creations. Like they're stronger than bones. And so the theory he had is how can we grow a coral reef without the organism? And through a little bit of DC electrical current and like dissolving of minerals like calcite and whatever, he was able to create something harder than concrete. And it just uses a little bit of electrical energy from the ether, and it can form. And what was interesting in the discovery of what he's talking about is that as I'm listening to it, I'm amazed. I'm just like, what? This is crazy. So we've known how to make something that doesn't need to be refined, doesn't need to put out so much COs, doesn't need, and this technology has been available, and it's harder than concrete, and it doesn't require excavation, destroying landscapes and ecosystems, doesn't require a furnace, doesn't require chemicals that decompose over time. Like if you look at the coastal shorelines of cities and they got concrete everywhere, they're constantly having to repair the concrete because the minerals that hold it together are dissolving in the salt water. So he came up with a solution to that problem. For the waste, even like buildings have to be, like cities have to be rebuilt with concrete because they crumbles apart. But he found out a way using a little bit of electrolysis that you could create a concrete structure with a little bit of a trickle charge from the ether, the earth, and you can erect anything. And it's harder than concrete, and it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't weather. It doesn't. Anyway, it's just it was so interesting. So I want to expand and research on that more. But it was talking that the concrete industry produces 8% of the world's accumulation of COs in the atmosphere. Not that I'm foregoing green, you need COs in the atmosphere for plants to exist. Um, but the point of the matter is we don't want the CEOs coming from an unnatural cause. If they're, because like a volcano is going to emit freaking millions of BPM of harsh chemicals in the atmosphere, but that creates the ecosystem for the terrarium. You need that emission in the atmosphere so that it can work in the cycle. And you see, like every botanist knows this. They understand that carbon in the soil is what helps with plants grow. They understand that that carbon in the soil helps the myceliated network. And so it would make sense that in a terrarium setting of this earth under the firmament that you would need carbon emission in the atmosphere. To zero seems to me like they're trying to kill off all the vegetation and force people to have to eat their artificially grown whatever. That's what I think is happening. But I don't know. Just speculating. I'm not sharing wisdom, I'm not giving advice. Just speculating here, putting connections together. So when I'm channeling, this is what goes through my mind. I just get these thoughts. Sometimes I share them, sometimes I don't. But that video was so crazy. And what started as looking at a lapidary artist um, polish off this like 100 carat cobalt blue opal, and the whole thing was blue. It was mind-boggling blue, and it had marbling in it that looked like choroid, that purple choroid. But it was opal, and he was just like, "Yeah, the quality of this opal is like $150 a carat," and he made 100 carat, 98 carat opal. I'm just like, what? But when he was showing, because he's a master at what he was doing, but when he was breaking it down, he even cut off pieces. There's like, oh, the green luster here shines bright here, but not through the whole thing. So he's like, so we'll take a cut here and make a separate. And then so he was like showing how to do that, and it was just fascinating. But I've never seen opal so richly blue in my life. It was as vibrant as my cobalt blue flash, my labradorite, and that was opal. And it was such a deep, dark blue, kind of like honey's spinal, that deep, dark blue. But it wasn't clear. It was like, boulder opal in a sense. It was, oh my gosh. Love, see? So when I'm watching videos, a lot of times I'm watching creators create because I'm fascinated, and I love listening to people tell their truths because a lot of times what people are presenting anymore, it corroborates what the research I've already been doing, and it's so fascinating. But I keep getting these impressions. So Richard and Honey have been talking about divine masculine energies coming in a lot. And for a while, I've been practicing reading and trying to understand my divine masculine healing oracle cards. Um, and I'm beginning to just speak it, the language that comes up with those cards, the gods, lessons that they learned in their incarnations, like chalk. I remember watching a video with Honey Golden and I think Lisa when she was in Mexico, and she was talking about the deity Chalk. And yeah, he was a very spiteful god. Like I tell you what, he was. But that fear and that terror that he had, it broke him. And the lesson to be learned from Chalk was, to be able to forgive yourself and let go. So anyway, it's very interesting. So I'm curious because of Richard, even in his videos, like, I just need more bros. And I was like, I'll be your bro. So funny. But I kind of want to bounce some ideas off of Richard and his intuition of the divine masculine with these cards. I'm very curious. So I'm curious if Richard might be willing to mentor me a little bit in understanding those healing cards a little more. Because, like, they're specific to the divine masculine. And I've been healing a lot of divine masculine things in my life: the fears, the anger, the rage, the hate, the malice, the revenge, the vindictions that I would go through, the phases. Like, I had to get back at them, or I had to, just ego inflation, essentially. Like, I've been healing a lot of those divine masculine flaws that come out from uncontrolled and balanced energy. So I'd be curious if Richard would help mentor me a little bit in understanding how to feel into cards a little more, because I'm just learning on my own. I don't have books. I don't have books. I mean, I have my Oracle book that explains the card and tells the story and the intention behind it, but outside of the little small book that they give you, understanding how to read them intuitively, it's very interesting. So I'll probably ask him one day and see if he'd be willing to help me expand my knowledge on card reading, because something keeps telling me petrified copper wire. Yeah, no kidding. I did at that time. Yeah, hell yeah, I did. Now I don't need that at all. That's so funny. Just like your husband. Oh, that's great. Sorry, I'm going to be reading through. Yeah, humans need sunlight to process the vitamin D. Yeah, you're right. Right, Steve. Yeah, afternoon siestas suck. Tracy. Uh, yeah. So anyway, just curious. It just popped in. Oh, I know he'll help me. But he's just a busybody too. He's got so much going on, so I would, obviously would never want to impose or, do anything with that. But I'm just curious. I would like to. I keep getting a draw to learning those cards in conjunction with my crystal cards that I really picked up naturally. But it's, I don't know. There's a connection with those divine healing masculines I haven't locked into yet. The freak. Oh, another one launched off. Good thing these aren't gemstones. I'd be freaking out. Where did that one go? Cost me $15. Uh, it's just this little nugget of a stone. Oh yeah, some of the jewelers I follow, they've shared some blooper videos of, like, they're working under a microscope and the little gem they're trying to see pops off, and then there's like searching and it's so funny. I'm like, oh, I get the struggle so much, you know, because if you're working with, like, some of these jewelers, wire wrappers will do rainbow gems going around in their seats, but the gems they have are like 2 carat, 1 carat gems, and or even half a carat sometimes, like really small ones. And when it pops off, and they're like, oh shit, because it follows that sequence of color, so you can't not have it. It's so funny. Bloopers. See, it's good when you can laugh off your mistakes. Like Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. Laugh it off. Yeah, you fucked up. Cool. We all do it. So laugh it off. Don't get so uptight about having a mistake or embarrassment. It's just like, well, yeah. We've all done it. Like tripping upstairs. Oh man, that's the funniest thing. A bunch of people trip upstairs. Don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying it's you're walking, you're taking the step, but yet you still trip. Oh, it's just because I've done it so many times. I still laugh. It's hilarious. Okay. Oh, it's so funny. Okay. Getting ahead of myself. Okay, perfect. That's why it was fighting me. Come on. This bronze is so stiff. I gotta spread it apart and I can't do it. This dang thing. I swear to God. There it goes. Okay. Oh shoot, I have a kid out there. I should probably go check on her. She's a pretty good kid. She very well behaved. I'm so grateful that I get to work with her on behavioral things now. When I get her back from her mom's though, man, we have some meltdowns. And I think it's just the shift in dynamic of the home, which is why she has them. Because I have structure. I don't cave. I don't comply. I don't let my kids bully me. I don't let my kids walk all over me. I set boundaries. So she's sometimes not used to that. Hi, baby girl. How are you? I was just coming out to check on you once I get this connection done. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah? You watching Octonauts out there?
Yeah, I put chapstick all over my face.
You did?
Yeah, on my hands and legs.
And your hands and legs?
Yeah.
You, that's why you haven't smelled to yet. Okay.
Yeah, so why?
Okay. Great. You're all lubed up, ready to go.
It's meant for your body too. It's meant for your body too.
Yeah. Helps with chafing.
Yeah. It really helps with your face, body, legs, lips, and hand and lips. And your eyes a little bit. I didn't get it in my eyes. I closed my eyes.
Oh, good. You didn't get it in your eyes. Because that was going to be my next question. Are your eyes okay? She comes in smelling like chapstick. It was like, what the heck? I just thought she put it on her lips. Nope. She applied it to her whole body. uh, at least she's not one of those that goes and draws all over the walls and stuff. And yeah, she's not one of those kids. Yeah, she does their own little projects. Come on. There it goes. Okay. Okay. Everything all right, man. That's so funny. Okay. So there's that one. All right, I'm going to finish this section. I'm going to take a break so I can stand up and get off my butt for a second. Um, so I'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm going to make sure she didn't chapstick my sofa. She likes to do that too. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to check on her, make sure she's all situated, and we'll get back to it.
I'm right here.
You are right there. Oh, I love you so much, baby girl.
Me too.
Yeah, you're my favorite little Eleanor.
Oh, come here.
Oh, is that Fox too? Okay, let's go make sure you're situated. Do you need anything? You need a drink?
No, I already drank more.
Get enough to eat? Yeah. You need anything from me? You got just a couple minutes. Why? What do you need from me? Oh yeah. Really? Wow. Okay, now I'm proud about that. You want an apple? Oh, you can have these if you want. You want pretzels? Eleanor? Want some of these pizza pretzels? These are mine. Here you go. There you go. And that one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, these are. You want all of them. Are you done with your breakfast here? No. Put that away. All right, I gotta get back to it, little girl. Oh yeah, you have your blue Powerade in the fridge too. Get it. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna go back to crafting. All righty. Oh, where's my water bottle? Water bottle is my room. Okay, I'm back. There's my water bottle. Okay. I'm back. Make sure I didn't miss any chats there. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, almost lost it again. It's one of the challenges when you're chain linking because you got to use smooth pliers. They slip on you sometimes. You have to use smooth ones because you don't want to leave the marring or scratches on your metal. Because again, this metal is relatively soft, not like steel. Ugh. The frequency of steel is so low vibe. I worked with it a lot. High carbon steel, so low vibe. But the stainless steel has a little bit more of a brightness to it. Color wise, it is, but I mean, energetically, it's different than your high carbon steel. Okay. So at Spudnik has this, it's like the celery harvester because celery is labeled as like a ready eat food. So you go and cut it off from the dirt. It's like a ready eat. It has to be handled with um, materials that don't tarnish or corrode or cause or leave um, trace chemicals from it. So you have to use stainless steel on that piece of equipment. So the BBL machine is what they call it. Was their spinach and celery harvester that was made mostly of stainless steel. So as working in sheet metal, like the outside forms, the covers, the guides, the rails, the shovels, the stuff like that, the blades, they all have to be stainless steel. So I would have to break the metal in pieces for all those stainless steel parts. And so we got a lot of stainless steel gauge material that would have to get worked for the production of those. Now these things had like full stainless steel frames too, so we'd have like super thick pieces of stainless steel for that machine. And the machine, when it was done and finished, being exclusively like stainless steel, was actually a really cool machine looking. Yeah, it looked really cool. It had tracks on it. It's all shiny and Yeah. So I got a lot of gauge parts, a lot of shields, a lot of boxes, a lot of housings, with stainless steel, which is super interesting. It's not the same like your soft metals. And I see like the intuitives are saying this soft metal prices are gonna skyrocket because people are gonna start realizing the benefit of having it. I mean, if you think about it, just in the olden days, older homes, everything was made out of copper. People had copper dishes, copper kettles, copper pots, copper cups. People's plumbing in the house was lined with copper pipes. So copper was widely used because of many benefits, and specifically like with your water lines. Copper with your liner lines is antimicrobial. And oh, my daughter, yeah, she's precious. She's so cute. But copper has antimicrobial properties, which means that it prevents the growth of harmful algae and bacteria. So it made sense why homes were lined with that for the health part. And it almost seems like the second they introduced PCV, which is your petroleum based plastic, and it's like the worst of the worst, those chemicals leach into your water system from that plastic. And it's dead. There's no energy. There's no energy that can be transferred through plastic. And so it's like now our waters are all tubed up with plastics. And if you ever, well, us older people, not the young kids, we drank from hoses, but it had that reminiscent rubbery taste to it. Like I feel like a lot of these modern homes have that in their tap water. And it just like even in my home, it's horrible. But I'd be excited to have a home lined with copper plumbing, copper pipes. Like PCV for your waste and disposal, like your toilet plumbing, whatever. Yeah, that's fine, but we're not drinking from it. The plastic. It's quite fascinating, though. Doorknobs were copper, hinges were copper, houses were made with wood, they were handcrafted. The wood that was used to make those homes weren't grown in a controlled environment, so they have like natural strength to them. The wood that's farmed, like pine wood that's farmed for building supplies now, does not have the strength and integrity old pine trees have. Very interesting, but you buy something what seemingly is a great quality product. Like, oh man, my favorite. So I bought Ashley furniture. From my understanding, based on how they market, is a pretty good quality product that they sell, right? For your furniture, Ashley sofas. Well, I buy one. The quality of the materials used sucks. So the quality of the product sucks. It isn't a great. He's not as great as the now. The peel looked great, looked comfortable, durable, but the wood structure of the frame, it's not great. And I think that a lot of that attributes to how pine is grown. Like they really do get supplements in their water to help speed up the process because trees take forever to grow, which is why I don't think we're supposed to cut them down. But obviously, tree also can be reused and give life to things. But let's make a tree house. Yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, so this is my chain link we got going on here. Super cool. And it kind of like crumbles up into like a rope in a sense. So that's why these chain links are super cool. Super soft. There's no burrs. It's nice and smooth. So it'll feel good on the skin, assuming you're not sensitive to tin, as Tracy mentioned earlier. Oh man, that would be so funny if Richard was one of those that was sensitive to tin. That'd be so funny. Suppose I should ask, but we'll find out. Because if he doesn't like it, someone else will. I'll just leave it as a necklace for another piece. Maybe my own, because I love brass or bronze. So here's another interesting anecdote a lot of people don't realize. So in Christ's story, as the Bible writes it, the pharaohs tried to um, prevent the Messiah from coming. Okay, so it's like they were hunting the Essenes because they knew that they would have to, the Messiah was going to be taught through them. For some reason, that's what their oracles are saying. So the Essenes had to operate in secrecy to preserve their lineage because they were record keepers. They kept the ancient wisdom true. They kept the ancient wisdoms there. And so they were hunted. But there was that prophecy of the Messiah that would crumble those controlling factions, their power. And of course, if you're in a seat of power and you did it on the backs of, slaves essentially, you would do anything in your power to prevent yourself from losing what you deceptively and manipulated got to. So it makes sense why they were trying to hunt him. So Jesus, having the innate ability, superhuman ability to absorb knowledge, excelled in his studies as a child way faster than anyone else because he could absorb it and learn it and embody it. He had that superhuman ability of absorbing information. And in a very short amount of time, the masters that were there, they could only teach him so much. So he had to expand. Now, at least in Christianity, of the LDS religion and how I was taught. Now, I'm not saying that's how they teach it, I'm just saying that's how I was shown. But Christ was from a poor family of carpenters. They just did their work. He was a carpenter, blah, blah, blah. Well, the question that didn't make any sense is yes, in the Bible, there's a period of time where he goes from being 12 years old to being 30 years old. So there's a gap of time that's, well, in my opinion, omitted from that what's the word I'm thinking of? Canon of books. So where did he go? Like, what did he do? Like, how does Christ become this master of so many things if he was just, a carpenter? And that's kind of how it was shared to me in that religion, okay? And I think that they just didn't have full understanding of what he's doing. So, what I come to find out in my studies, though, is that Christ, Yeshua, or whatever his real name is, I don't really know. The humans like to change it up, but his uncle was very powerful and influential, and he knew the gravity of Yeshua. He knew the scenes. He knew he didn't let the corruption harden his heart, and so his uncle was very powerful because he had monopolized the international trade and mining of tin, which in the time that Christ was born was the Bronze Age, which tin is needed for bronze. So his uncle had an international shipping network of tin, supplying the world with tin for the Bronze Age. So Christ, having an altered alias, was now able to travel the world through that network in secret as an employee, if you will. And that allowed him to get in front of all the masters around the world that were teaching what they were teaching. So he was able to learn yoga, he was able to learn meditations, he was able to learn crystal healing, he was able to learn Reiki, he was able to learn so many things because he was able to study abroad. He had this innate ability to share knowledge or absorb knowledge and share it. Like he had the kindness in his heart. So he stepped into his powers. And that's why some of those words that resonate is you can do and I can do and more. And it's based on belief. And he even says, I can't help those that can't help themselves. And so it kind of like the power is within you. Christ has been telling it the whole time. But that's how Christ it makes sense to me when I came to that awareness. I don't have anything to base this on. It was just an inner knowing that has come out. But Christ And I think it came from reading Dolores Cannon's book, They Walked with Christ, and Jesus and the Essenes. Those two books really opened my eyes to some things and brought many awarenesses, which challenged me to actually reread the Geneva Bible. That's the one I've been reading because it's, to me, it feels more authentic and real and true and not altered by humans. Like it seems like the Geneva one is the less altered, and it predates the King James one. So anyway, I've been reading that one through again, and it started making more sense. That Jesus, how did he learn everything he learned? Like he came here for the human life. He wasn't. I can't believe that he was born here perfect. I can't believe that. That's how it was taught. He was born perfect, perfect soul. He walked here like a god, like from the day he was born. Sure, he was exceptional at certain things. He has very special gifts. But I really think Christ had to have the human experience just like you and I. He had to learn, he had to walk, he had to understand things, he had to experience things, just like you and I. The difference was because he was more attuned and divinely connected. Um, the difference was is that he was able to maintain his composure. He knew what his purpose was. He knew at a very young age. He had more gifts in his birth than a lot of us do, but he had to go through the human experience like you and I. Faced with temptation, faced with things. He had to experience doing something wrong. He had to experience doing something that didn't feel good to have wisdom about the topic. So, anyway, it just makes the story of Christ more personable and relatable when you realize that he was just a human like us, too. He had to figure it out like what we're doing right now. He kind of humbles that story a little bit and takes the edge off of trying for perfection, because I don't think he was entirely perfect like what Christianity likes to preach. Like there's literally accounts of him in rage and anger upturning tables because of what is happening in the corruption of the city. Like there's stories about him having human emotions. But sometimes, like with a forceful notion like upturning a table, gets the point across. So it has to be expressed that way because it's not, that message isn't being set across. Because he was, again, when you're working in those systems of control, it's words are your words of power. And that's how you defend yourself, is through your words. And so he was defending the people by doing what he did. And there's many accounts of that in the story. So I still think that he was human like all of us, and he made mistakes like all of us. I really believe that. But I think that his awareness of things and understanding of things made it easier for him to do the works that he was doing. And I think that the pain and suffering that he had defending, the people, I think that pain and suffering that he had, he was able to transmute a lot of that suffering because of his practices. Now, it's interesting. Some of these intuitives are talking about that it wasn't actually Christ that was resurrected on the cross, it was his brother. When I feel into it and ask my pendulum, then confirmed it's a positive, so I don't know. But either way, the story represents the suffering, and that's what religion focuses on, is the suffering. It's not about the growth, it's not about the journey, it's about his suffering. We can't be like him unless we suffer like this. That's what Christianity teaches. We have to suffer like this to become enlightened like him. No, we do not. We enjoy life to become like him, likened unto a child. So artists like to tell their truth through their works. Writers tell their truth in their works of fiction. Their understanding of things in their works of fiction. Their downloads from the divine, they write them as works of fiction to tell the truth of what's actually happening. And one of the writers, now he's an interesting character, but when I look at his art form of writing, is Alan Moore. Alan Moore did V for Vendetta and The Watchmen and Camelot 3000, which were iconic comic book series in the 60s and 70s. But later down the road, after enjoying his works, I realized that he was an actual 33-degree Freemason. He was a part of that system of control, and he told his truths through his works. And so, what I'm seeing, like in the story of V for Vendetta or The Watchmen, is those things are literally unfolding right now on the world stage. The game that's playing that Honey advises us to, don't plug in, just watch it like it's a movie. Like, it's getting ridiculous, etc. Like, work on your nervous system. Like, yes, I'm listening to all of that, but I'm beginning to see the parallel of what's unfolding on that stage, and it is identical to what was written in Alan Moore's book, The Watchmen. Even the fake alien invasion, even the fake nuclear war, even the, oh my gosh, and it goes on and on and on. Oh my gosh. But Alan Moore was talking about this. Even, and in Alan Moore's book, it talks about Richard Nixon serving a third term, which I do know he attempted to do, break the confines of presidency, having a third term. So in this story, he did, and it caused, nuclear war. But as I'm understanding, like even with the Simpsons does not predict things. The systems is programming people to create that reality.
Dad.
Yes, baby girl.
I found this in the crack of the couch.
You did?
Yeah, it's still closed.
Must be good for you to use then, huh? You can have it.
But I gotta throw this plastic away. At least the straw didn't get dirty.
Yeah, you love stars. Maybe you can use that straw for your slang.
Oh, maybe that's a good idea.
You're so funny. Yeah, I think Christ was just like our brothers. I think he really is, as an ascended master, he was shown us a way as a brother that we're just like him. Like, we're just like him. We're more powerful than he even said, and he did miraculous things. It was written about it. And his influence, these ascended masters, their influence passes through time, thousands of years. Like Buddha, like Shiva, like Ganesha, like all of them. Baba Vanga, they all, like, their story of enlightenment was really going within and tapping into their inner power of who they are as a divine soul. And all through history, doesn't matter. It's so crazy how all of this kind of just, that awareness of realizing that you're right. I am like that. I can do that. I do have these views. I do have feelings. I'm not just a mindless drone working a 9-to-5 job. There's more to me than everything. So, yeah. Just incredible. Let's see if... I'm going to do an extra wide one for this one. Okay. So we are going to link these two together. Split these. Split those ones. And then link this. Okay. There it goes. Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're getting some length on there. Link by link, we're getting longer on our stuff. This is exciting. So, one of my gifts that I've just had an innate ability to do my whole life is recall information that I learn. Because in my mind I categorize things like it's a like an index card filing cabinet, and I know exactly where everything's filed in that kind of organization. And like in the movie Lock and Key, my inner child's like, Lock and Key. They have the mind key, and basically it's a key you put right in your 33 vertebrae, and then this door opens up right in front of you, and your body checks out. So a version of you steps out, so your subconscious mind steps out physically, and then you can walk through the doorway into your mind while your physical body is sitting here gone completely inward with the power of this key. But what's interesting in the series is that in Lock and Key, everyone's doorway is different. The theme of their memory bank is different. Like the one character's memory bank was staged as if it was like a Broadway play. So a big stage, red curtain, like big auditorium, and another person's looked like a big giant like grandmaster library with wood hand carved wood bookshelves, and but all of the things in there had a memory to something. So like if you opened a book, the book played a visual memory of a specific thing. And so in the mind key, it's how I organize. So in my mind, I imagine, well, actually, I had a dream, my 7352 or 7320 or 7325 dream that I had, number sequence. So when I went into the Akashics, going into my sovereignty, my dream that I had was in an old 80s style like library, and everything was filed by index cards. And so in my dream, when I was tapping into that, I unlocked something within myself, the DNA in that dream, and it was symbolic by gold. So whatever that gold means in metaphysics or symbology or dream interpretations, um, gold, the element of gold, was a big part of it. And what was made aware to me is that I'm ready to handle whatever that abundance means. Like gold means abundance to some degree. And I don't know what that means. I'm excited for what comes of it, but yeah, there's something to it. But my ability to recall knowledge allows me to absorb things like audiobooks. So if someone can read something to me, I can absorb it really readily, and I can recall the stories that are being told in the books. So when I say referring to Jesus and the Essenes and they walked with Christ from Dolores Cannon, listening to it in audiobook while I'm doing my work throughout the day, like I'm absorbing that whole book in a day. Like, and for the entire time I worked there at Sputnik, I was absorbing podcasts, I was absorbing truther stuff, I was absorbing knowledge and information, I was absorbing books, I was absorbing so many things. Like, you got 12 hours a day to be at work. Man, that's like 12 hours of book knowledge I can absorb, like that's so not only was I doing an amazing job at being a fabricator and a creator at that company, I was also expanding my mind, my consciousness, and my awareness. It just, oh, I learned so much, not pertaining to tractor equipment and farming, but learned so much outside of that, doing that craft. Because doing in that kind of workspace, they just kind of leave you to it. So you're just kind of like punch in, punch out, follow the routine like a robot, do your job, get production done, get your shit done, label pit, stay productive, and I was constantly on task, but I was also constantly absorbing information. So I was like, I wanted to stay on task because it gave me that opportunity to consciously check out of this reality so I can absorb whatever it is I'm learning. And over that tenure of me being there, I just absorbed so much knowledge, which really sped up the trajectory and the pace at which I was, um, or just in my ascension space. Like I'm doing it very rapidly. Just 6 months ago, I was working a job. Now I'm sovereign, doing what I love, making beautiful things, connecting with people all over the world. Doing it very quickly because my resiliency, my will, my drive, I'm eager. to stop being a part of that system. But once the system benefits humanity in its entirety, then sure, I would be more eager to be a part of a system like that. But where this system is still built on lies and deception and rules and chaos and fear, I don't want anything to do with that. What's up, baby girl? What you doing over there?
Nothing really.
Nothing really? Is Fox in here with us too?
Yep, he showed me his rock badge.
His rock badge?
Mm-hmm.
So are we going to have a party or something? Is that what's going on? Party it up with Eleanor. Party it up with Eleanor.
And Fox.
Yeah, Fox too. Party up with Fox too. With Fox too. This is my dog Fox.
Yeah.
I'm always curious what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You smell like dill pickles. Did you use dill pickle chapstick?
No. It's just the mint set one.
The mint one.
Yes.
Oh, so it must be the mint one mixed with your pizza flavored pretzels.
Yeah. Something like that.
You're so funny. This is my live. This is my little one. If you haven't met her yet, this is little Ellie. Oh, she's so funny. He argues with her so much. It's so funny. My dog.
Did you hear that one?
I did hear it.
That was perfect.
Okay. Did you like that video we made yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
When I slept in this mood, it means yes.
What, Fox?
When I slept this one, it means yes.
Okay. I haven't posted that video yet. We did a little video demonstrating fluorescence of stones and phosphorescence. So the difference between fluorescence and phosphorescence. Yeah, we got a lot of chitter chatter. That's so Fox. Yeah, whatever you're doing, Eleanor, he's annoyed by that. Which doesn't take much. My dog's always annoyed by everything. Is that so? Really? Okay. Tell me all about it. Really? Oh, I see. Eleanor. We forgot to get him some food. Can you get him a scoop of food, please? Yeah, that's what he needs. Where's my food? Saying, where's my food? Can you go get that for him, please? Thank you. Where's my food? Yeah. Eleanor, please. He needs some food. He's not going to stop bugging me until Oh, that's so funny. It's like, stop ignoring me. Thank you, Eleanor.
Well, then you have to come back in with his rock badge.
Okay.
After you go.
After he eats his food.
Come on. Come on. Let's go eat some food. Yes.
So My husky is such a weird eater. He kind of just eats intuitively.
Yeah.
So, like, normally I just have this routine where as I'm getting ready, I'll get him some food prepared and get his water dish topped off and to get him outside. We go sun gaze for a bit. He goes running around. We have this routine in the morning that we do. I think sometimes I forget to feed him because he doesn't eat right when I feed him. He eats what he wants to eat. My dog is sovereign. Just realizing that. But he eats what he wants to eat, which is fine. I don't have to worry about it. Well, aside from getting my trash can. That's a different story. But I don't have to worry too much about it. But he does that when he's like, I'm hungry, feed me. Or when he needs to go outside. We were playing this morning before I started this video. I gotta get it. So my video is gonna go until probably 1:45. So I gotta jump on a Ascension Mastery live Zoom call. I like being a part of those because it helps me with the guidance of my business, my alignment, my nervous system. I like the extended or the extra bonus features that come with Step Into Your Power.
Come on.
Okay, you got food?
I'm trying to let him follow me out here.
Okay, he'll go when he's ready.
Come on, come on, come on. Woof, woof, woof. Come on then. Come on, till I get
Fox, if you don't like it, then ignore it.
Come on.
You want to act like one of us humans,
Come
then you got to
on.
learn how to be a sibling. He gives me the side eye like, no, you don't.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
He's like, I don't want to.
What about that?
It's so funny.
And this. No, you can't go in any of these other those. Come on. Eat.
Yeah, we are 1:33. So yeah, I gotta jump.
I did something funny to Fox.
So I'm going, before I jump on that call, I want to take him out again. I think he might need to do that too. But he was also yelling at me because I didn't feed his food dish.
Come on. We're siblings. We are siblings.
We are siblings.
Come on. No, let's go get you some food. Let's go get you some food.
That's so funny.
Come on.
All right, guys. I need you both to leave if you're going to keep making some noise.
He's not going to go out.
That's fine. He'll go when he's ready. Oh, man. Going with the flow. Let me tell you. In my other video, I forgot to mention that. So going with the flow means dealing with your toddler that has the temper tantrum in the middle of, I got to get this done now. So going with the flow means, okay, well, here we are. We're going to deal with this for 20 minutes. I'm going to deal with this for 30 minutes. We're going to, so that I'm not forcing it and making her do something. Like I have to, as a parent, be very patient and allow her to decide it for herself. And sometimes that takes time. Like the other day, last night, getting ready, my daughter's like, hey, I need a ride from the gym, done, blah, blah. It's like, fine, okay, we'll be over. Daughter's excited. We're going to go get some ice cream afterwards. We're going to have some fun. And I fire up the car, and then she was like, she didn't want to ride in that car, and it was a meltdown for 30 minutes. And I was like, get in the car. But as a patient parent, you have to like go with the flow, go with it, allow her to work through those emotions to process, because she's still learning. She doesn't know how to express herself, so it ends up in these tantrums.
I'm never taking the white car again.
You love Victoria.
I'm never riding her again.
We used to ride in that car all the time.
I'm never riding her again.
You're funny. But yeah, so going with the flow allows me to patiently wait for my child to work through her emotions so we can move on to the next step. Because I'm not trying to stick to a schedule. Well, I was at that time, man. Yesterday I had a timeline because I needed to get onto my live. I needed to get my package mailed off for overnight delivery, and it didn't work out the way I had hoped, but it worked out. It did work out, just not the way I had hoped. And that's good, because going with the flow means that it'll happen. Maybe not when you want it to, but it'll happen. And that's okay. Okay. So we're coming in. Okay. Just work with Barry. It's not good enough. Okay. Man, there was a lot of stuff that flowed through me today. Now that I'm thinking about it. Recapping this videos and getting ready to close it out. There's a lot that came through me. And so I'm channeling. This is what I'm creating. Create.
Oh, I give up.
Okay. Okay. I love the sturdiness of these grippers, but the nose on it is so thick. It doesn't. There it goes. Didn't want to work for me. It's so fun with these chain links. Sometimes you're like, fight, 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 and then all of a sudden, boop, works perfectly like butter. And you're just like, what? And that, symbolically, is what I call alignment. Once it's perfectly aligned, it happens effortlessly. So as you can see, I fight the occasional jump ring. When I align it properly, it works. It is what it is. Okay. Just gonna sit on my chat for a second. Yeah. So, as you can see here, I'll hide my face. You can see the chain link that I'm working on for Richard. It's pretty standard. And this is going to pair. Let's just kind of mock it up here so you can see. But as you can see, the copper, the silver, and the bronze. So in ancient Egypt and their technology, they had a lot of devices that had these three elements together: silver, bronze, copper. And Richard made a comment. He's like, this feels very Egyptian. Well, now you know why. Metaphysically, these three soft metals together were used for very, very cool devices and technology that we have yet to discover yet. I want to know what the significance is of this three. So you can see the parallel of the three that we're working on for his necklace. It's super beautiful. So let's measure and see how long we got here. Ah, that's so funny. Okay. Well, I gotta adjust this. My links aren't consistent. And I forgot to skip one there. That's so funny. Oh, yeah, that is the end. But yeah, so this is my live creation. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am going to end this video now that I'm looking at this. It's supposed to have a link in between. Link in between. I don't have a link in between here, 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 here. Did I want to do that? Yeah, I do. I like the link in between. So it looks like this. So it inverts itself. Super cool. Anyway. Okay, well, this concludes my video. Thank you so much for topping in there. We've been on for 2 hours. That's pretty good. But I got to get into. No, actually, I think my timeline is wrong. Was it 2 or 3 o'clock? I can't remember. I believe it was 2 o'clock. Gotta go look at this. Hold on a second. Let me just check. Yes? Can I help you, dog? Of course. Okay, go to my internets. Yeah, because if I got an extra hour, I'll craft you a little bit longer so I can continue working on this. Let me pull up Step Into Your Power real quick. Okay, yeah. Yep, so this is at 2 p.m. I'm going to be a part of that. It's going to be super fun. So I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to continue working on this later, and we're going to continue making this super amazing. So I appreciate you guys so much for the love and support. Sending you so much love and blessing for everything. And I love creating. I just love creating. It's super amazing. And when I get to work with people on custom creations like this is so fun. So fun for me. Because it empowers me to just get to work. Like, I love doing it. So have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. But this will conclude my video for today. We'll see you all later. I cancel that there.